All right, you're listening to Geek Vice, the official podcast of the 2015 cold and flu season, and brought to you by your host, the first man to get the cold in this cold and flu season, Morph.
That is me and my beautiful singing voice. Welcome, everyone, to Geek Vice, a podcast by two geeks just trying to be heard in a world now flooded with geeks. I'm Morph. That guy is Kip. He's a man boldly going from the couch to the kitchen and back again. Good evening, Kip.
Good evening, sir. I'd ask how you're doing, but I can hear it in your voice.
Yeah, I'm doing spectacular. I actually feel a lot better now than I did this morning. That's for damn sure.
Sweet.
But the one advantage to being sick today was that I got to sit at home with my laptop and watch Daredevil. So we can talk about Daredevil tonight. How about that?
All right. And if I start saying stuff you haven't heard of, stop me. Because I know I'm further along in it than you are. Because I actually watched the entire season.
I have not seen the entire season. I have only been through the first 6 episodes, but that, to me, that doesn't really matter because it's just that good of a show.
I do have to confess something, though, and that is I keep wanting to call Wilson Fisk Carlton Fisk after the baseball player. For some strange reason, I really have to think about it before I say his name.
You know what? That's all right. It could be worse, right?
It could be worse, but if I say Carlton Fisk during this conversation, you'll know what I mean.
Yes, we will.
Yeah.
Okay, so first impressions. What do you think?
I think this show is so good that the stuff that I've got DVR'd, like Arrow and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and all this good stuff, pales in comparison. I enjoyed it that much.
I would have to agree with that. I guess my only real complaint, and I don't know that it's even really a complaint, but some of the gruesome nature of it, I don't shy away from things very often, but there were a couple times in the first 6 episodes that I actually cringed and like made me blink watching it. Some of the stuff that they did and some of the stuff that they went through. It's just like, wow.
Are you talking about the scene with the Russian and the car door?
Well, there's that one. There's also the one where the guy first mentions Fisk's name, and he ends up like headbutting a metal like fence spike.
Oh yeah.
And there's that one.
There is that.
Yeah, it was
pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Now that's commitment. That is just total commitment to be able to do that.
Yeah, wow. That's all I got to say is wow.
Yeah. I'm trying to think, does the bloodshed get better or worse as the season goes on, since you're only halfway?
Well, according to our lovely friend Christy, at Angel Chris on Twitter, she says that her cringing moment came in episode 8. So, and Celeste just sent me an email saying it's still happening. So apparently she's not getting your invite.
Well, what the heck?
Yeah. So we'll try to get her on the air while we're recording this, and we can always just edit it out.
Well, if I'm not the worst producer ever, then I'm not doing my job. Okay, I sent another one. Let's see how that goes. But episode 8, I'm trying to think of what happened in episode 8 that was cringeworthy.
We get beat up badly in that one.
Oh, I bet I know. Yeah. I think it's I can't tell you because you haven't seen it yet and you don't know what's coming. But I think I know what Christy's talking about.
So, I guess my question for you is, does the TV show, or I guess does this end with a does it end where it feels like this is going to be a good show to be able to be picked back up?
You know, you watch. I'm gonna give it a little bit away, not the story, but the feel. A lot of times when you watch a gritty show like this, it leaves you wanting more at the end of the season. Like maybe it's a bad cliffhanger, or maybe things just went to hell and then they ended it there, and it's like, oh shit, what's gonna happen next? They actually ended on a positive note.
Oh,
It
good.
was actually a feel good ending to the season.
Okay.
They left it so there's definitely a place for a season 2.
Cool.
Without even changing bad guys. I'll just give you that. So,
well, that's good because Fisk needs to be in this thing forever. Like this.
yeah, Vincent D'Onofrio is awesome as Wilson Fisk. So, yeah.
Well, but not only that, but Wilson Fisk can't leave. Like Daredevil never brings this guy down. Like this is the guy that just skirts the law just enough that he can never, like, he's never captured, he's never brought down, like he's always just out there, and it's kind of the obsession that Daredevil has for him that causes all this. So that causes the turmoil within him. So I'm glad to hear that he's not brought down in this first season, because that just wouldn't work.
Well, he's not dead. Well, you know, and that's the important part.
Yeah.
But yeah, the final episode is really good, and you walk away from it going, "That's how you do a TV show, right there."
Yeah.
But my feeling on the whole thing was it wasn't episodic. It wasn't villain of the week or anything like that. They kind of played the whole season as a 13-episode movie, in my opinion. There were episodes where maybe not a whole hell of a lot happened. Maybe it was just more character development, but you didn't mind.
Yeah.
And it was, you know, it just felt like watching a movie the whole time. And that's what I really enjoyed. Hello, Celeste.
Hello. Sorry about that. I was expecting an email.
Well, I usually get an email about it, so that's why I was surprised that you did not.
And I don't look at the little Google Plus numbers anymore because I know it's going away and it doesn't matter to anybody in the world.
Yeah. Google Plus is a short-lived thing. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I hear.
Yeah.
That's too bad, because I still use it.
It'll just end up getting merged with Facebook, and it'll all be one big thing here again.
It's okay. I like
Facebook. It'll be Face Plus.
There you go.
We were just extolling about Daredevil, but I couldn't give too much away because somebody's only seen half the season. So we were just killing time.
Yeah, speaking of Facebook, I've been seeing Daredevil recommendations all over my Facebook feed, so now I believe everyone, and I'll check it out.
Yes, it's really good. You should check it out.
Normally, if everybody likes it, I would hate it, but this time everybody likes it, and so do I.
So we'll go ahead and throw a little introduction out there. This is Celeste. She is a lifelong science fiction and fantasy fan, which these days is most... Good Lord, it's like I haven't been doing this before. Which these days is mostly centered on books, movies, and TV shows, and tabletop gaming. She's been blogging as Average Jane on AverageJane.com since 2004, and she is also blogging on Blog Her and Blog Pause, which we're going to have to talk about because I have no idea what those are. And she's also a social media marketing wizard, and she's been working for various companies since 2008, both on the advertising agency side and now the client side. So welcome, Celeste.
Thank you.
So, okay, tell us a little bit about yourself. What that was kind of a broad topic. What are Blog Her and Blog Pause? What are those?
They're both blogging communities. Blog Her is huge. It's literally a million plus, mostly women, and they've had conferences regularly since 2005, I believe. And I went to the first 7 of them, and then skipped a couple. But I do generally go, and I've met lots and lots of bloggers from all over the world that way. So that's pretty cool. Because social media is more fun when the social part can extend past the internet. And Blog Pause is a pet blogging community, and they also have conferences. I'm going to one next month, and so it's people who blog about or sometimes as their pets.
Nice.
I'd hate to see what happened if. Go ahead.
I'm not actually a pet blogger, but I have enough animals that they figure fairly often in the blog. So, and I also know the founder, and I've made it there too. So it's one of those things.
So it's not always about what you know, but who you know.
That's, hey, social media. It's social.
Yeah. So you say you're a sci-fi fan, a sci-fi and fantasy fan. What are your hit sci-fi and fantasy stuff that you're involved in right now?
Of course, I got my shows. We like stuff like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Person of Interest, and I'm still watching Grimm. Of course, Game of Thrones. I got my Game of Thrones shirt on, but you can't really see it. My cartoon Game of Thrones shirt.
Awesome.
And I just went with Kip and his wife, and we saw What We Do in the Shadows a couple weeks ago.
You joined them for that movie, huh?
Yeah, I liked it a great deal. That was the second time I'd seen it, actually.
Awesome. Awesome. Now, you said Person of Interest. I have to ask, are you up to date on Person of Interest?
I haven't seen this week's.
Okay, I'm like 14 episodes behind.
Yeah,
but
so
are you liking this season as much as previous seasons?
It's fine. I mean, I'm willing to roll with it because I like it in general. They've made some missteps here and there on some stuff, but it's okay.
Yeah, because that's part of the reason why I've fallen so far behind on it, is just because I don't know, I felt like this season, and they just kind of...
They're coasting a little bit.
Yeah, I didn't like the direction they were going. Like, at first I'm like, well, this might be good, and then it's just like, I'm just not feeling it. It's just not working for me right now, and so I've been watching other things, like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Daredevil and all these other shows that I think are a lot better.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a shame because I really enjoyed Person of Interest, and I tried to get Kip on and get him watching that show, and while it was in the first couple seasons of it.
Yeah, but I hate everything, so I didn't like it.
It's one of my favorites. So if we have a whole list on the TiVo, and I have to pick what I'm going to watch in order, that's one of the first ones I'll pick.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Celeste is the one that we watch Game of Thrones with, and she's read all the books. So when it comes time for a part that she thinks my wife won't like, she can give her heads up, and then my wife can go upstairs and miss things like the Red Wedding.
I love it too. Like you're not gonna like this. I think you better probably just go away.
That's hilarious. That's great that you have to censor Holly. That's awesome.
Of course, now anything goes because they're diverging from the books enough that I'm not sure what's happening anymore.
That's great.
So the first episode we watched last night, is that completely off the rails from the books?
No, but they killed a character who doesn't die in the books, at least not then, or not yet. So they'll have to assign his next action to somebody else, probably. if they're going to keep the storyline heading in the same direction.
Interesting.
You never know with those.
But they do that quite a bit, though. They just, like, we'll have this guy do this now. It'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, so we got Game of Thrones. We got Person of Interest. You like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? You mentioned that one.
Yeah, I like Agent Carter, too. I sure hope it gets renewed.
Oh, me too. Me too. That'll be sad if it doesn't.
Yeah. I like the whole retro setting and all that, and it just makes it more interesting.
There's even a little part of me that kind of hopes that with Daredevil doing as well as it is, I'm hoping maybe if Agent Carter doesn't make it to ABC to be shown, that it'll make it to Netflix.
That makes sense.
And just a Netflix original. I don't know, would that be considered a Netflix original if it showed up the first season on TV? I guess it does.
I don't see why not. It seems like these days a show has lots of places it can go if it doesn't survive on network.
Yeah, and I think that's what's actually helping with some of these TV shows. It's, I mean, if only we could get Kip in my favorite movie or TV show, Almost Human, to come back to some other form.
I never watched that one.
Oh, it was really good. You should check out the first and only season of it.
Yeah, that was one we were going to start watching, and then we heard it was going to get canceled. Like, well, never mind.
And it's too bad, too, because it was my favorite thing on TV at the time.
Yeah.
And, of course, Holly misses Carl Urban, so I've got that going for me, that he's not on TV anyway.
You'd have to make more Star Trek movies.
Yeah.
So, Celeste, tell us about your social media marketing. How you say you've been in that since 2008. What really, I guess, what do you do for social media marketing?
Well, I think it's changed considerably since then. Back then, I was establishing the very first, like, MySpace and Facebook and LiveJournal and Twitter profiles for companies that didn't have them at all yet. And back then, if a company followed somebody on Twitter, it kind of freaked them out a little bit. And actually, in retrospect, as well it should. But now it's so played out, and you really can't do anything as a company without spending money, especially on Facebook. I maintain some Facebook pages for businesses even now, and in my own band, because I have a classic rock band that I'm in, and nobody sees that stuff. Except unless they just happen to go to the page often or something. The reach is terrible unless you're willing to pay. So at this point, your almost your best bet is to come up with something so interesting and viral, like a video, that people can't help but notice it, because the regular stuff is just nothing but background noise and clutter now.
So okay, that brings me to my next little topic here. So. Do you think Twitter and Facebook and this kind of stuff is good for the marketing side of it, or is it starting to become where it's so watered down with Joe Schmoes like me and Kip that put all our stuff on this stuff, that that the actual marketing of it kind of goes away?
It's kind of hard to say. I mean, you have to be a lot more creative to cut through at this point, and a lot of the time. Most of my time on Facebook these days is in secret groups. I've got a couple that I really, really enjoy, and I hang out there a lot, and I talk to people there, and I don't even post as much on even my own profile wall, much less on pages. So I think you have to figure out where your people are. Of course, that's all any marketing, but the potential to target people is pretty good, but again, Facebook's going to make you pay for it now.
Yeah, we've noticed that.
Yeah.
I keep getting the emails. Hey, come spend money.
That's right.
Money.
And in the
For a
old
small fee, you could bore more people than you bore currently. That's kind of the emails we get. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in the old days, you could just find bloggers who were interested in whatever topic and get them to write about stuff, but bloggers are just the personal bloggers are kind of vanishing, and I put myself in that category. I don't post very often anymore either. It's just, I think the other social media have kind of taken over, and when I was blogging actively, I could make a whole blog post out of something that now would be a tweet or a Facebook post, and then I'm done.
Yeah. Well, so do you think Twitter's kind of taken your typical bloggers and kind of moved them more to just posting on Twitter constantly?
It's giving them ADHD.
I'd say I think it definitely did. It made people feel like, well, I've written about such and such already, so I'm kind of done. And then pretty soon you're like, I don't have anything to write about, or I've written about everything a million times already, and I'm running out of ideas. I admire people who still post regularly, because I even as a writing exercise, which would be helpful, but that's why I started blogging originally. It's just not. I don't have the motivation to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's
It's
always
too
been.
bad because blogs was my favorite thing to read back in the day. I love it. Back in the day, it was like 5 years ago. But,
Oh yeah,
I love that stuff.
even my favorite blogs from the early days. There's so few of them left.
Yeah. Well, and I even find myself now, like some of the blogs that are updated still regularly, like I don't go check them out as much because I can see the headlines that they post on Twitter, and I'm like, oh, I already kind of know what they're going to say on this topic, so I don't go read the full blog. I just see all the headlines, and it's like I'm sure that I'm part of the problem there.
Well, after Google killed off Google Reader, which I'm still mad about, I switched to Feedly for a lot of my blog feeds, but I also started following a lot of them on Facebook instead. So
Yeah.
I catch a lot of headlines there and click through, but I use Facebook on a mobile device a lot, and it doesn't handle links very well, at least on my iPad mini. I'll click through to something and it won't load, or it loads really slow, or it crashes.
Yeah.
So that cuts down on my reading too, because there's some sites like Salon that you almost can't read at all on an iPad, and I don't know why. They're just too big and heavy. Some of those pages don't even want to load on the computer. So I don't know what's wrong with those stupid sites, but there's a lot of things where I just like, too much trouble. Or if it's a slideshow or even a video, I got to think really hard about whether I care enough to put in the time to have something load and spend the time to watch it, and
Yeah, especially on, like, I do a lot of it on my tablet, and I've got a Nexus 7, and it's like I'll load it up and I'll be like, oh, it's going to take, this is a video, and I might be interested in looking at it or watching it, but it's going to take so long to load up on my tablet to be able to play it for like 30-second or a minute-long clip. Like, I'll just look at it tomorrow at work, and then I forget about it and don't ever look at it.
I know. I use that save post function in Facebook all the time. Never once have I gone back and looked at any of that stuff. I don't even. I know where it is. I found it enough times to know where they keep that stuff. But never mind.
Yeah, you start saving stuff, and then it's kind of like my DVR for my TV. It's like I go flipping through the bottom of the list, and I'm like, when the hell did I record that, and why did I record it? No idea, but apparently I thought it was really good at one time because I recorded it and watched it multiple times.
Well, remember all those bookmarking sites like Magnolia and stuff, and even, I don't know, 6 or 7 years ago, I had a bunch of accounts on those, and I bookmarked hundreds of things, and I don't even know my passwords anymore, and I don't care, and it's all gone. Of course, I use Pinterest for that now, if it's something I think I might want to see again. But it depends on what it is. If it's a cartoon I like, or something I might want to buy, or a recipe or something, I'm more apt to pin it just to keep it somewhere.
Right, just to kind of keep track of it so you can go back and look at it, even if you never do.
But those links aren't very stable, even from blogs where you'd think, oh, that's a recipe, I'll go look at it again. I followed one back the other day for something that I make all the time, and it was gone.
Oh, really?
So I'm glad I have a printout.
Yeah. Still nothing beats printing out something. So what do you, as the social media expert, what do you think the future of social media is? Do you think it's going to get any better? I mean, we already know Google Plus is rumored to go away. do you see Facebook going away at some point with all this, with everything just getting cluttered through there?
It's hard to know. I mean, Facebook, it's so big, and I think rumors of its demise are exaggerated so far. Because even demographically, they say that, well, Facebook doesn't appeal to younger people, but they're all on it. They may get to a life stage where they use it more than they do now. Just
Yeah.
it makes more sense to them when it's more useful for things than Instagram or Snapchat or whatever.
Yeah, which Snapchat, but I still haven't gotten involved in that thing yet.
Nah, me either. I like Instagram just because I kind of like spreading out my posts. I don't know why, but there's a distinct difference in my brain between what goes on Facebook and what goes on Instagram and what goes on Twitter. And I can't even explain what the differences are. Or even some things that I just post on private groups instead of on my page. And a lot of that stuff, it could really be out there anywhere, but I just like to pick and choose. I think it's just because you can. But from a marketing standpoint, gosh, it's really hard to say. It really is. It's not very scalable to do conversations with people. But
Yeah.
that's really what social media is good at. So otherwise, it ends up just being another broadcast medium that people can ignore or not, unless it's really, really interesting and compelling.
Well, normally you only hear about somebody's social media campaign is when they really fucked up.
Yeah, I've given that presentation lots of times. It's all the new examples.
Yeah. Things not to do.
And there's practically one a week. So on a good week, more than one.
I think the best use of Facebook so far that I've seen is every time I do a search on Amazon, their ad shows up on Facebook the next time I log in.
And also, here's how bad it is, though, with the tracking cookies, is that it doesn't discriminate between things you just looked at and things that you actually bought. I was like, I already bought that stupid thing from half.com. Get it out of my feed. I don't need two.
Quit advertising the thing that I already have. Yep, I've gotten those a lot, especially recently.
Yeah, good thing that doesn't put Google searches up on Facebook page. That'd be hilarious.
But the irritating thing is if I'm shopping for something and I don't buy it right away, it's because I don't have any money. So
Yeah.
it's just taunting me by that point.
Just a reminder that you're broke.
Yep. Like, hey, I'm going to pay for the 15th, so knock it off.
I really did want that.
Oh.
Look, Celeste, if you had money, you could have bought this.
Skin would be so much softer if you'd bought that cream you looked at. Too bad you don't have any money.
Yeah. All right, so let's change gears a little bit because Kip tells me you're a huge board game geek.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know your favorite board game.
I would probably put Battlestar Galactica pretty high up there. And I'm in a gaming group that will get together and set aside pretty much a whole day. Because sometimes a single game can take literally all day.
Yeah.
So that one's a good one. I had a really good game last time I played where I knew I was a Cylon from the beginning. So I revealed immediately as soon as I could, and then I just rained fire on everybody the entire game. It was great. That was actually more fun than being sneaky about it for a while.
So, in other words, you played in a game where they followed the rules, unlike when...
I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
Sometimes early when you're playing a game, you don't remember the rules exactly right away.
I knew the rules perfectly, and for some reason I put the Cylon cards in the deck, and then something happened and I took them back out and forgot I did and passed out the loyalty
There
deck.
were any Cylons in the game.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we almost lost, and there was no Cylons. Yeah.
That's the worst. There was so much infighting between all of us that were playing that we almost killed ourselves. That's
pretty funny.
the pathetic part.
Well, our soulless Ginger decided to play like he was a Cylon, even though he wasn't one, because he was getting bored with the fact that the Cylons weren't doing anything.
There's two people in my gaming group who we always suspect of being Cylons, whether they are or not. So and one of them has no poker face, so if he is, you could tell. The other one just looks like he's up to something, whether he is or not. And so we always assume he's trying to kill everybody in any game that we're playing.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
But I've gotten away a couple times with just seeming really, really innocent and being let go. I can't believe they fall for that, but
They obviously don't know you very well.
I really don't. I'm not. Considering how competitive I used to be at just regular board games, the more strategic ones, I don't really care whether I win. I just want to enjoy the game. It's a bonus if I win, but I feel like I'm like 2 steps too non-strategic to really have a plan.
Well, I'm so bad at board games that if I actually do win, people think we either didn't play by the rules or everybody's really bad at the game. Because I hardly ever win.
I almost stumbled into a Game of Thrones win last time I played. Maybe I did win. I can't remember. If I didn't, I came really close. And that was a fluke.
Well, how is that game? Because I saw it, but I haven't ever actually played it. Is it pretty good?
It's a good one. It's another one that takes forever, but that's fine. And there's resource gathering and fighting, and your position on the board has a lot to do with how what you're capable of. If you don't act decisively at the right time, if you're stuck at one end of the board or the other, you can be trapped. And I kind of got stuck down at one end of the board, but it worked out in my favor.
Cool.
Yeah.
I've yet to play that one.
Kip, you need to go buy that one.
We've been playing a 1985 game called Warrior Knights.
Yes.
And that one's kind of cool. Oh, that's right. You played it for International Tabletop Day a couple years ago with us, didn't you?
Yeah, and I was the guy who finished so far in the back that you guys forgot I was playing.
But that was interesting because yes, you're fighting and yes, you're getting territory and moving around, but also you have to your lords have to drop everything and have meetings from time to time.
Yeah.
And then you recruit your mercenaries and stuff. And so the game mechanic's not quite as slick as some of the newer games, but in its own way, it's kind of satisfying.
That's cool. Very cool. Very cool. I'm looking at pictures of it. I'd never heard of that game. Kip, is that a game you own?
It is not a game I own.
Well, there's another one you need to get. Come on, man. What's your deal? You're a board game expert.
The rule is if I know somebody who owns the game, I try not to buy it.
Oh, is that...
Even though I don't see Andy that much.
Every time I buy a game, we end up never playing my copy. Like, I have Firefly, but I don't think I've popped out the piece.
I've played my copy twice, so I know how you feel.
And I've got one Euro game that's you're a coffee grower or roaster or something. I've never played that one either. It's called Java something or other. So, and I've read about it on Board Game Geek, and some people don't like it because it's cooperative to an extent that some people don't appreciate. But I'd like to play it at least once just to say I've done it.
Well, if you ever make it to one of mine, bring it. We'll give it a shot.
Yeah, I suspect it's one that's going to take a while.
That doesn't stop us.
Yeah. That's why I've been playing at the library quite a bit because they have a board gaming thing at my local library once a month, but it's only for about an hour and a half. So we've been playing stuff that's quicker, like Smash Up.
Have you played any of Prolific Games' games?
I don't believe so.
Well,
she has not had the pleasure of playing Flapjacks and Sasquatches.
Then you need to play some Flapjacks and Sasquatches.
That sounds like it's right up my alley.
It's great. It's a great game, and of course, Kip and I are a little biased because they're one of our first guests on this podcast. But that game it's a lot of fun to play. It's just a simple little card game, and you can get through a game rather quickly. So you could play a couple of games in less than an hour. So.
I kind of like having some card games that are quick because I've been playing Flux lately. I learned to play it with my nephew who's like 10. And it's a good little quick game to play at any game night where you don't have a ton of time and you just want to whip out a weird game.
Yeah, that one goes fast. We played 4 games today at lunchtime.
Oh.
So that tells you how fast that game is.
I'm kind of looking forward to getting Exploding Kittens.
You're talking about a game, right?
Yeah, it's the biggest Kickstarter of all time. It's the artwork is done by the guy who does the oatmeal.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking
Oh,
about.
okay.
Did you back that?
Oh yeah, are you kidding? I bet I was one of the first less than 100, I think, and then it ended up having thousands. It made millions and millions of dollars. It was insane. So now that it had so many stretch goals on Kickstarter that now it comes in a really fancy box, and you get the not safe for work version as a full game and the regular version as a full game.
That's pretty cool.
I love any game that has a not safe for work version. That's awesome.
Well, you get the right people, every game is a not safe for work game.
It's pretty much the way any game I play ends up, because I'm pretty much just not safe for work.
Well, I play a lot of Cards Against Humanity, although I'm getting kind of tired of it. I actually did not leap out and buy the new expansions the day they came out for once, this last time. But again, no money. But
I'm looking at my deck over there. I think I've got 5 expansions for Cards Against Humanity.
I did not know you on that game.
Me? Yes, I do. I do's, and when we got it, we played it so frequently after we bought, because I found some deal on Amazon where I could get the base set and then 5 expansions with it. Like, we played that thing probably like every weekend for a month, and it was really good until we finally got to the point where we'd been through all the cards, and so then it was like, oh yeah, I remember that one, and you played that card last time. So like, okay, we need to take a break from this.
I know even the most outrageous ones aren't funny anymore after you've seen them 100 times.
Yeah, and we always played like we'd have a few people that were the same, and then you'd have some people that were new, and they'd start, they'd really enjoy it, and you're like, you know what, I'm just kind of done with this game. So it hasn't been gotten out for a while, but I do have it.
Yeah, I'll probably get caught up on expansions. I get the holiday bullshit ones every year, and so those are all mixed in. And then I've got the 90s edition mixed in. So I have a pretty comprehensive batch of stuff. I think the only one I didn't buy was the bigger, blacker box because I was such a cheapskate. I just bought a baseball card box to keep mine in. Because it didn't have enough extra cards in it to justify the cost of the box. Although I did finally buy the big geeky box for Smash Up because apparently the expansions of that are never going to end as long as you live.
See, and that's Smash Up's one you've played, Kip, isn't it? Is that the one you played with at your last gaming night?
We did, and we'll probably play this week because the guy who owns the game got pretty Smash Up, so we have to try that.
Yeah, I just bought that one too. I've caught up on expansions on that one. But again, at $20 a pop, I don't even want to think about how much money I've invested in that game.
Oh man, I have not played that one yet, and I think I need to play it.
I actually played that at Recruits before it came out, because they had the game company was out there demonstrating it. So it was fun enough that I bought it.
Huh. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's a fun game, Kip or Morph, whoever you are. You would like the game. It's a good game. I'm sure one of the Fridays that we do we call them decompression chambers. One of our decompression chambers will play it again when you're there.
Yeah.
What I'm hoping to get out this Friday is Lords of Waterdeep. I want to get that game.
Oh,
going.
you're a bastard too.
You are welcome.
I played the app a lot.
I have been bugging him to play that game for a while now, and I'm going to be out of town this Friday and not going to be able to make it, and so he's going to play the game. I see how it is.
It's either that or Power Grid. I've got to play something worker placement this time around, so it's either that or Power Grid.
Well, I'm voting for Power Grid so that I don't feel like I missed out.
Yeah, but see, if we play Lords of Waterdeep this time, I can get all my rules fuck ups out of the way, and then when you play, we'll be playing by the rules for sure.
It isn't too bad on that one, especially without the expansions, because it gets harder. I haven't played the expansions in the physical expansions, but I have them all for the app, and they make it super challenging after a while because you get skulls that count against your points, and it's hard to get rid of them.
Yeah, that's the Scoundrels of Skullport or some shit, isn't it? Yeah, a friend of mine's got that expansion, and I've played it once. I've played the base game 2 or 3 times now, but like you, my copy is gone unplayed, so I'm hoping to get that thing out.
Now, Celeste, you made a comment about an app for Lords of Waterdeep. Do you have it on your iPad Mini?
Yes, and it looks good.
I was say, do you enjoy playing some of your board games on there?
Yeah, I was gonna pick up Ticket to Ride because a friend of mine who lives out of town also plays that. We play Waterdeep too, and it's kind of fun to be able to play with people. And we just start really long games, so it doesn't matter how long it takes to finish them.
Well, that's what I was kind of wondering was, does it work well with be able to like do a turn and then be able to turn it off, or is it kind of something where you guys have to work your schedules out to where you're playing with them? You're both sitting there playing at the same time, just in different areas.
We set up like 45-day games, so no matter how long it takes somebody to take their turn, you're still good.
Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah, because I
did just lose a game with there's a random person that I don't actually know that I play with quite a bit, and I lost a game because I dawdled so much that I ran out of time. I've been playing this completely stupid game on the iPad called The Secret Society. It's one of those just item search games.
Okay.
You're just trying to find hidden items in a picture, and it's incredibly time consuming, and I don't know why I got hooked on it, but I think that's why I haven't read a single book this year. Because when I have free time, like, I must use up today's power in this game.
Yep, I understand completely, which is part of the reason why I don't read any books ever.
Unless there's a lot of pictures.
Unless there's a lot of pictures.
They're racking up on my Kindle app, and they're piling up on my table, but I just haven't gotten any of them.
Yeah, because I saw on Steam, Kip, I think I sent it to you this last, I think it was last week. Or no, it wasn't on Steam, it was a Humble Bundle. They had their board games for board games that are now computer games. So they had Lords of Waterdeep on there, and there were several others that were available that you could purchase to play on your computer. And I'm like, well, I thought about getting some of them, and then I think I got distracted and didn't actually go buy them.
I have yet to buy one of my favorite board games as an app. I don't know, the whole idea is lost on me. I'd rather pull out the board game and play with somebody sitting across from me than on my Kindle or something. I don't know, maybe it's just because I'm old and crotchety, but I'd rather play in person.
I have Skyped and played Waterdeep with somebody at the same time before. In fact, we did it as a tutorial to teach the other people we wanted to play with how it went. That was kind of fun.
Yeah, that would be cool.
At least you could talk. Because I'll get texts from one of the people I'm playing with, and it's like, thanks a lot. I'm like, what are you talking about? I forgot. I gave you a quest that you have to do before you can move on. Sorry, forgot about that.
That's awesome. Yeah, my biggest problem, I mean, I've got 3 kids, and so it's trying to find the time to be able to sit down and play a long game, a game that could take somewhere, 6 or 8 hours to play. It's like I don't have 6 or 8 hours unless it's when I should be sleeping. That's about the only free time that I have. So that's why I look at some of the games that on on the computer and always try to find one where I can still play with other people where you can make a turn and then wait for them to make the turn. And if it's people that you know are going to continue the game, then I don't seem to have a problem. I usually run into my biggest problem is when I try to play with people I don't know, and they'll sit there for weeks or months waiting to make a move, and then you forget about it and move on. So
Yeah. I've seen that happen a few times, but I on Waterdeep I kind of have my core group of people I play with, so I know who's going to keep it going. Sometimes the answer is not me, so I'm trying to be a little more responsible. It's bad when somebody's like, "So, still playing a lot of games on your iPad? Why?" Doing Waterdeep for 3 days. Oh, sorry.
So it's kind of the same as when you're actually playing in person. The guy who asks whose turn is it, it's usually his turn.
Yeah. It was like the time we tried to watch one of the baseball playoffs last year and play Battlestar Galactica at the same time. That took all day.
yeah, I was gonna say that couldn't have worked out well.
That sounds like a bad combo.
Of course, I cared so little. I was the one with my back to the TV, but that didn't keep the game going.
So, okay, you said you haven't read any books this year, but you do like, we talked about TV shows. What's some of your favorite movies that you've seen recently?
Yeah, I haven't been to the movies too much lately, partly just because I don't have time. Since I am in a band, I have a lot of weekend gigs, and that's the only time I would have had to go to the movies, so I'm doing that instead. But, of course, I keep up with the Marvel Universe ones and as much as possible, with a few exceptions, and then I'm up to date with Star Trek. I don't know how much I care about upcoming Star Wars.
Yeah.
I loved them when they were the first 3. I love them less with each passing one.
Yeah,
but I mean, I totally love Guardians of the Galaxy. I only saw it twice, but I would have seen it more if I'd had that kind of free time.
I wish I could say I've only seen it twice, but I bet I've seen it. How many times do you think we've seen Guardians of the Galaxy? 30? Yeah, she thinks maybe 50.
See, I don't have time to watch anything that's 3 hours long 50 times.
Well, if you watch anything with Holly, you would see that all you watch is her favorite scenes, and then it takes like 45 minutes to watch a movie.
she does the perfect compression. She just does the highlights.
She's a movie zip drive, is what she is.
Well, you've got the new Avengers movie coming out here in less than a month, so.
Yeah, we'll definitely catch that one.
Yeah, that's on my list of movies to go see.
The ever growing list.
Yeah, the list.
He's still waiting to see episode 4, A New Hope.
Actually, I haven't seen that one yet.
I didn't bother to see the last 2 Hobbit movies because the first one was so
Yep. I didn't see any of the
work up
Hobbit
the
movies.
interest. I mean, I like the Lord of the Rings movies, but that made sense because it was 3 long books, but The Hobbit was 1 short book, and I just couldn't get behind the whole idea of making 3 gigantic movies out of it.
Yeah. Well, I got kind of Hobbit, or I guess the Lord of the Ring movies were not one of my favorite movies, so.
I read the book so many times that I was just completely on board for the movies. I liked them because in the books you had all these different groups, and there was no telling them apart, really. I mean, I read those books a million times, and I couldn't have told you the difference between the different groups of men. But when you could see them, like, oh, there's their sigil, and this is where they live, and this is how they dress. Okay, that's that group, and that's that group, and it was a lot easier to tell. So
I agree with that.
Because from a visual standpoint, I just didn't have them envisioned very well.
They did do a really good job with the visuals on there. I just got bored with all the walking.
Well, that's how the books are, too. So it's just
And I got bored with all the walking in the books, too.
At least with Lord of the Rings, if you said a character name, I pretty much knew who it was. With Game of Thrones, you could throw a character name out there, and I will not know who the hell it is, pretty much. Because some of the names are almost exactly the same. There's Sansa and Cersei. Couldn't tell you which one is which, but they're there.
They actually changed a couple names in Game of Thrones just because they were too hard to tell apart when you said them.
That's awesome.
I can believe that.
And yet, Kip still has problems.
Yeah. Well, there's Tywin
so
and
many
Tyrion, and I've just, I watch it for the nudity, so I don't care what everybody's names are.
Well, I think it's about time to wrap this up now that Kip
Did I
has
kill it?
nudity. Celeste, tell us where people can find you at.
If you want to be found.
If you want to be found.
I'm happy to be found. My blog is averagejane.com, which is just a redirect, but close enough. On Twitter, I'm average_Jane. Same with Instagram, I think. Don't have a Facebook page for the blog, so you're out of luck there.
There you go. So everybody go check out averagejane.com. Check her out on Twitter. You can check us out at
Somewhere.
God, I really should have slept more today. You can check us out at geekvice.blogspot.com. You can check us out on Google Plus and Facebook. Just search for Geek Vice. You can follow Kip on Twitter at Kip Killigan. You can follow me at Geek Vice. And thanks, everybody, for listening to our ramblings. If you've got any comments, questions, or things you want to complain about, email us at geekvice@gmail.com. And we'll see you next week.
Thanks, Celeste, for coming on.
Thanks for having me.